British humanists oppose blasphemy laws. Ms. Cordelia O'Sullivan of the British Humanist Association made a brief statement at the 31st session of the United Nations Human Rights Council in early March. Considering that O'Sullivan has said nothing new, it seems likely her participation in the session was for the purposes of lending yet another voice to the struggle against blasphemy laws. In addition to enumerating some recent high-profile Russian impiety cases, O'Sullivan echoed the 2015 Freedom of Thought report published by the International Humanist and Ethical Union, reminding the Council that 55 states outlaw blasphemy. It is punishable by imprisonment in 39 of those states and death in 6. She added her own provocative commentary saying, to add insult to injury, 15 of the states which outlaw blasphemy are current members of this Council, a hypocrisy we cannot tolerate. O'Sullivan called for all states to adhere to the United Nations Rabat Plan of Action, which referred to as an excellent framework for states to use in defending and promoting freedom of religion or belief and freedom of expression. The Freedom of Thought report goes on to say that most of the 12 countries which punish apostasy with death also sometimes treat blasphemy as evidence of apostasy. No conflict between science and religion. Director of the Vatican Observatory, astronomer Guy Consolmagno, said in a recent question and answer session that there's no conflict between science and religion. The Jesuit brother went on to argue, to me, the issue comes down to 2 problems: scientists not having enough humility to understand that they don't have all the answers, and religion not having enough to recognize that they can't tell God how he should have made the universe. Consolmagno went on to say the important thing is to recognize that the universe is created by God, and however God did it tells us something about God's personality. If God chose to make a universe where we're the only creatures, that is interesting. That tells us something about God and about us. If God creates a universe where life is everywhere, that gives us a different picture of God, but in either way, we can learn more about who the Creator is. Consolmagno, who is a recipient of a Carl Sagan Medal, taught physics and astronomy in the Peace Corps, and was a postdoctoral lecturer at MIT and Harvard. Consolmagno didn't identify which issues in particular some Christians may not agree with popular science on. The Catholic Church has showed acceptance of the theory of evolution, which goes against what some Christians believe in creationism. Many scientists and critics point out, however, that the Catholic Church seems to be engaged in cherry-picking, ignoring the parts of scriptures that imply a geocentric model of the universe and suggest the earth is flat, while adhering strictly to other parts such as the Church's stance against contraception. Out he goes. The Vatican is replacing its ambassador to the U.S., Carlo Maria Vigano, the man responsible for setting up a meeting last fall between Pope Francis and anti-gay Kentucky clerk Kim Davis. Archbishop Vigano is a staunch conservative and was vocally opposed to same-sex marriage throughout his 5-year tenure as ambassador. Pope Francis has struck a much more moderate tone concerning gay issues, attempting to shift the focus of the Church, or at least the perceived focus, towards helping the poor and away from the more controversial issues like contraception, abortion, and same-sex marriage. Though it should be noted the pontiff hasn't made any substantial change in Church doctrine or policy concerning LGBT issues, firing Vigano does send a message. There's no official word on Archbishop Vigano's replacement, but longtime Vatican watcher Sandro Magister has reported that it will be Archbishop Christophe Pierre, who is seen as a moderate and more closely in line with Pope Francis's vision of moving forward. If true, such a replacement would be an indication of the pontiff's willingness to be more welcoming to the gay community, despite the lack of meaningful policy change.